Hey guys, Mike here, back with another video. Now my car's engine stopped working for some reason. Now I need a new mode of transportation. Today I'm going to show you every single step you're going to need to build yourself a motorized bicycle from $120 kits on eBay. Now the first thing you're going to do is prepare the bike for the engine. First, I took apart the handlebars and pumped up the tires. I had no idea how to take off the handlebars, so I struggled for like half an hour before I looked it up. And the trick you want to use is soapy water to lubricate them out. It's so easy. Now I'm going to reload the workspace right behind my brand new 2007 Corvette C6 with 700 horsepower, paid for all by my how to get a free PS4 video. Now I don't have anything to do and I'm trying to kill time while waiting for the engine kit to come in the mail. Here you see I'm trying to adjust the accessories and the handlebars, but I don't know what I'm doing and I look like an idiot. So next I decided to take off all the decals off my $100 Walmart mountain bike to make it not look like a $100 Walmart mountain bike. Dang, doesn't that look cool? Here's everything the kit came with. I'm going to put the spark plug in it to make sure nothing falls in the engine to destroy it. Then I got some tools I realized I didn't have before. These bolts are impossible to take out without a drill, just an FYI. So after taking the chain plate off the engine, make sure not to lose anything. Next I took the clutch cover off to grease up the transmission. I ripped the gasket in a couple spots, but don't tell nobody about that. Next I added only a spoonful of grease. That joke sucked. Anyways, I just put a little bit of grease here. Next step is to struggle to take off the rear tire. After that, you're going to need to install the gear for the chain. See how mine doesn't quite fit? It needs to be perfectly centered on the wheel or the chain could fall off. First you need to cut a gasket in half. Be careful. Then shove it through the spokes and be sure to install the gear with the side of the teeth closest to the wheel to make sure the chain doesn't hit the frame. Then the next step is to line up all the holes. Then you need that metal thing on the back to clamp everything down. Then the next step is to forget to put the lock washers and take the whole thing apart again. I was missing a few of these nuts, but luckily there was a couple loose nuts in the box. Hopefully I don't need them for anything else. Now remember what I said when it needed to be perfectly centered? People use tricks like duct tape or zip ties to center them, but I found that the more you tighten the side, the more that everything just shifts to the side. So what I did was tighten everything as hard as I could, and it just centered itself basically. It's so easy. Next step is to struggle to put the wheel back on. Then take everything inside because it's too dark outside. This is pretty much how the gears should look, nice and straight. Mine wobbles a tiny bit, but that should be fine. So one part of the motor mount wouldn't fit my bike frame, so I had to take these studs off to fit in a bigger motor mount for one side of my engine. This kit only comes with one bigger mount, which really screwed me up in the long run. One of these things were even bent. If it broke, I could have been screwed. Literally. This stupid manual shows the wrong type of motor mount and it wants me to drill the frame. Screw that. Imagine if I didn't know any better. Next, I'll add an entire bottle of Loctite to these motor mounts. And then the next step is to realize you put it on backwards and take it apart again. Then I go ahead and mount the motor to the bike. Dang, that spark plug barely fits. Then I tighten down the coil pack to the chassis, and then I realize the carburetor doesn't fit. So then I cry off camera for about an hour, and here's how you build a carburetor. You unscrew the top first, which I forgot to film, then you put the pin in the barrel, then put the washer on the notch that lines up with the notch on the barrel. And then put the spring, then the top. Then wrap the throttle cable through the top, then through the spring, then around the barrel. Then screw it all together and you're good. My air cleaner didn't fit, so I just broke it down as small as I could get it and screwed it on. I do not recommend this at all. I can't ride this bike through rain or dirt anymore. Next is to take literally every single thing I've done in the past 2 hours apart and adjust it all to make the carburetor fit on. And then barely get it to fit on and then realize what time it is. Then connect the coil pack to the magneto on the engine. Just follow the colors of the wires, that's all. Next step is the chain. You're going to need a chain breaker, which is not included, a tensioner. Luckily mine was upgraded to the 4-bolt rather than the 2-bolt, which is a lot safer and tighter, and a chain. I literally have no idea how to use this chain breaker. The next step is you're going to need to take the master link off the chain. Just take your pliers and put one end on the pin and the other on the top of this little clip and just push. Here's a live action demonstration. Here's me trying to look like I know what I'm doing. And here's me putting the master link together, even though I didn't measure the chain and it is way too long, so I have to take it apart again. That's a pretty good tension. Now that I've installed the chain tensioner, the chain assembly should be a perfect straight 2D perspective, but mine looks like Super Mario 64. Next, I'll drill a small hole for the throttle to allow the non-slip pin to insert into the handlebars. Here's me trying to explain how to connect the throttle because my camera died. Now screw it in. Next is the clutch assembly. You're going to need your gear shield, clutch arm, and some grease. Take this thing out of the middle with the ball on top and grease it up. And then grease the bottom of the clutch arm a bunch too. And then put it all together like this. Then realize the clutch arm hits the frame too. And then realize it's almost tomorrow. Next to install is the exhaust. Then install the kill switch from the throttle. It doesn't matter which wires you attach it to, it's just a kill switch. The next day I cut the clutch arm in half so it can clear the frame. Then install the clutch to the handlebars. And then I put a big spring for a heat shield on the bottom of the clutch cable. And then I left out the other spring that's supposed to go there because it's useless. Just copy exactly what I did here. Next I added 3 bottles of grease to the chain. And then screw this thing to the gas tank. I put some double-sided tape on the bottom of the gas tank to help with installation and to screw the bottom in. Next is the gas line. Connect one end of the gas line and cut it in half, add the fuel filter, then connect the other side. Man, this is looking so good. We are so close to being finished. This took way more effort than it should have, but I can't wait to finish. I went ahead and installed a mirror purely for aesthetics. And in Ohio, you legally are required to register your motorized bike with a license plate. Good thing Walmart sells them for 75 cents. Next, I mixed the gas together. For the first 4 tanks, you're going to need to use a 16:1 ratio of oil and gas. I used 87 octane just for the break-in period. And then after that, you can use 24 to 32:1 ratio. I'm probably going to use 91 octane after. It's officially done. After about 8 hours of non-stop work. YouTube has finally sent me my yearly paycheck, so I decided to treat myself to buy a GoPro Hero 4. It looks really bad because this is my first time using it. Don't worry, I'll get used to all the settings. We'll see. The exhaust. Ow.
Is the chain hitting or no?
Oh, it's stalled. I don't think I... The chain was hitting in some spots, but I was able to adjust it and fix it. And the carburetor kept getting bent because of the frame. So to fix that, I just tightened out the motor mounts a little bit and they worked out. I'm so happy that this works, I decided to drive it to my local car show, and it was awesome. Kidding me, dude? I don't have an air filter. Thank you. Hello.
Right.
All in all, this bike is pretty cool, and I only took it apart maybe 30 times to fix all my mistakes. It would have been much easier if I had a bigger frame, but this was the only bike Walmart had. This was a really cool build, and I really hope you guys try to build one yourself. It's super cheap for someone who wants to learn to get into automotive stuff, and I love building things, so I thought it would be a great opportunity. Parts for this are crazy cheap on Amazon and eBay, and it's just so awesome. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned from my mistakes. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. The top speed for this bike is about 40 miles an hour stock, and it shakes a whole lot. If this video gets 1 million views, I will put eggs in the engine to see if that makes it better. Thank you guys for watching, and don't forget to eat your daily pie. Goodbye.